Welcome back to another episode of Around the Mage Table. It is episode 22, and I am joined today by, you know what? I haven't started with Scrap before. Scrap, how you doing today?
Did you never start with me?
Yeah,
I'm doing good. That's all I got for you.
This is all we get is the introduction, and then we get Scrap for the rest of the episode.
You get yapped over.
The Scrap. I think someone called it the Scrap Cast last week.
Scrap. I really like Yap Claw. That was my name in Discord.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you guys talk right now.
And Shawnee, how you doing today?
I'm doing amazing.
Yeah,
actually. Yeah, I'm gonna tattoo someone from a band I really enjoy when they come to town.
Yeah, you were telling us about this. It's like it's you're doing it for free, but it's doing it more because you're a fan, but also because I think that'd be really cool if they threw you on Instagram or whatever. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but
it's
more
not Linkin Park, is it?
No, it's
highly
not
controversial band right now.
Or Foo Fighters, neither.
No, Foo Fighters is a little more controversial. Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm doing well, and WoW's going well, so everything's awesome.
Mood good. Okay, technique. How's the steak?
Man, it's beautiful. Actually, so for those of you that don't know,
show us a picture of it. Is there a cut? You got
is one last bite. I mean, yeah, sure. Here, wait.
What there? Ooh, look
at that
rosy gold.
I mean, it's so fatty right there. But this is like the sirloin side. But yeah, it's from Frozen. It's a ribeye, and it's the first time I've done it this way. So I'm actually really surprised with the outcome. It's actually super good.
If Shawnee looks extra annoyed tonight, it's because we're starting almost an hour late because Technique just completely forgot because he was cooking a steak.
I did. Yeah, it took a lot longer than expected. Normally long conversation short. I normally smoke it shorter than I did tonight, and it took longer because it was frozen. It's my first time doing it.
Well, we got a lot of things to talk about. I'm actually, I'm gonna, knock on wood here. I'm gonna actually hope that we maybe can get 2 episodes out of tonight. Hey everyone, I'm gonna take a pause here real quick and let you know that we did split this episode up into 2 parts. The first part will release on Monday. The second part will release on Friday. Given that I'm on vacation this week, I was kind of anxious, so we recorded this before I left, and it looks like we got enough content to give you guys something to watch while I'm gone. But when I'm back, we will be back with a new episode, so don't fret. We'll have something new for you. This is part 1, and I will have an introduction for part 2, so just hang tight. We'll see how it goes.
Can't get wood anymore.
Not after the accident. But we are in the middle of season 1, and by in the middle I mean literally like 2 days into season 1 for us. This is as of time recording. With a lot of things coming out. The first being Mythic Zeros. Now, for those who don't know yet, Mythic's season 1 has started. Mythic Zeros are open. Mythic Plus will open the following Tuesday, which will be I think the 12th or something. And not the 12th, sorry, the 17th. This is going to be the 1 week where we don't have Mythic Plus, it's just Mythic Zero. However, 4 of the dungeons that were introduced with the expansion are now out of the loop. You can't even do them on Heroic, I don't believe. And we have the 4 Season 1 dungeons, which is Mists, Siege,
Grimbatal,
and
Necrotic Wake.
Necrotic Wake.
Thank you, Scrap, for your brain.
You're welcome. I actually did a lot of them yesterday, so.
So 2 questions here. I'll start with the obvious one. Mythic Zero, is it as hard as you hoped? So I'll start with you, Shawnee. You've been seem to be grinding quite a bit.
Yeah, it's as hard as I hoped. I've been in some that felt harder than they needed to be. Probably because I didn't shoot the cannon, I just repaired it. But yeah, it could be because Tentacle Wars. Who knows?
We still plus 2'd that. It was fine.
You have actually opened an opportunity to remind everyone that we are now back to streaming, right? So twitch.tv/MDLFrank. We had a wonderful time in Raid and in Mythic Zero last night.
So much fun.
I don't blame you for being angry, but at the same time, I for one had a wonderful night of. I went to bed at like 2 a.m., which is the one thing I promised myself I wouldn't do. But it was the first night of season 1.
Well, we're doing it again tonight. What are you talking about?
And then his wife served in papers.
I got like 4 hours of sleep, and I wanted to die this morning. But yeah, maybe you probably get it out of me again. Okay, so you did some with us. Have you done any pugs, Shawnee?
I haven't got the pug one yet. I pugged some delves, so
okay,
that's been my puggery. I've heard a lot about pugs, though.
Yeah,
a lot of yelling from people.
I have some things to say on that in a second. Scrap. Other than the dungeons we did, which by the way we did Siege. We did
Siege and
Dawnbreaker. Dawnbreaker. Did we do another?
No, that's
Stone
it.
Vault. We did Stone Vault.
Oh yeah. Fuck,
Yeah.
I forgot.
So have you done any other dungeons other than those so far?
Yeah, I've done most of them. I think the only one I haven't done is Grimbatol,
Have you pugged
which
any
I've
of them?
never done. So I have no fucking clue what's in there.
Watch the Keystone Kindergarten.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, for sure.
You guys are just alley-ooping me all night. We're 3 minutes in.
They were. I was gonna say they've got a satisfying difficulty. Like they're not just cheese, but they're still not remotely difficult. Like the only reason we wiped on that boss is because we were fucking around majorly. Yeah, they're not difficult, I would say. But
Okay.
better than heroics.
All right, Technique. Well, I don't think we've done a dungeon together, but have you done any? And what's the
I did
pug scenario?
I did 5 of them yesterday. And I gotta be honest, it's a little bit of a, you know, I'm not the solo player. Every time I play, I'm with 4 friends that I play with often, and it's a blessing, man. I thank God for that. And
Bless up.
yeah.
Where are you going?
So, but seriously, I mean, so it's hard to say from like a pub perspective, but man, it felt better. You know, it felt good, and I feel like M0s are now for me as a player in a party what heroics probably should be for me as a player in a party, or as maybe a pug. That said, it's really not far off, and you know, heroics probably could have been tuned up a bit to kind of prep you for this. I don't know why they feel the need to like limit the abilities difference from heroics to M0. I feel like maybe those should be the same, but not as strong. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not super upset with it. The M0s, like we wiped a couple times on some of the dungeons I wasn't as familiar with. Siege of Borealis. I went into that last boss like not knowing which tentacle to kill.
Yeah, Frank too.
I wasn't paying attention.
You're the tank though. You don't really. I mean, you just have to hold the threat.
Well, yeah. I mean, but still, the group kind of follows my lead there, and so I didn't tell them what to do, and I didn't know what to do, so we just kind of looked it up after we wiped. But yeah,
you would have really struggled in Archie. You would have had no idea what to do.
But you know, after we looked it up, and we were like time crunch too, because we had to go raid too. This is the dungeon I was in right before raid.
So you were late for raid.
Like, watch this right quick. It was we like found a little 2-minute clip, and then we did it. And it was no problem. But at the same time, it wasn't a pug. So you know, I honestly, I'm not super upset with it, man. I'm having a good time. And I can't wait. I haven't been able to get into Necrotic Wake yet. And what's the other one from Shadowlands? Miss. I actually, because I played a lot in Shadowlands, I'm excited to get back into those two.
Honestly, Necrotic Wake it's a good dungeon. I talk a lot of shit.
I love Necrotic Wake. And people are like, blah, 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 Shadowlands.
No,
whatever, man. I love those dungeons.
I stand by Shadowlands has some of the best dungeons, I think, ever. But yeah, go on.
So I obviously enjoyed last night, but there were like, okay, so on the one hand, we were dying to the last boss of Siege because Lithian wasn't running fast enough.
3 times, chill.
Yeah, I know, but we were dying because Lithian wasn't like leading the charge into the tentacles, and then of course like every single person was getting eaten by sharks for no
exactly.
We were not shooting cannons every single pull.
But we were on the wrong tentacles most of the time.
But like that felt like, okay, well, we messed up a mechanic, so then we paid the price. That's what M0 to me should be. But on the inverse of that, when we were doing Dawnbreaker, I think it was me. I just like didn't pay attention to the dark orb, and it hit a wall pretty close to us, and it didn't punish us severely enough, in my opinion. So like I'm kind of like, okay, well, so to give some context as well, I pugged Arakara and City of Threads this afternoon or this evening, and the last boss of Arakara, which is the boss that you have to get rooted without being pulled into the black hole that she's creating. It took us like 6 tries because like people were just not getting the concept. But once they did, it wasn't that hard, which again, I think is where M0 should sit. But then we were doing City of Threads, the first boss, which is really simple boss. You just can't stand in her puddle that she creates. And the tank was just not moving, right? Which leads me into my second point. I feel like there are going to be a lot of mechanics that if you know them, they'll be really fun. And enjoyable for the most part, at least from the new dungeons. But everything I'm seeing is people, I don't think there's a single dungeon where people have said, I'm really happy about this dungeon being here. For example, Dawnbreaker, Scrap, you've obviously voiced your opinion about that.
I hate Dawnbreaker.
The last boss of Arakara, a lot of people are like just hating on it because there's a lot of poison dispels and healing checks. I heard a lot of people, if not unanimous agreements, that Siege sucks, even though I love it. I'm not excited about Mist of Tyrannosaith because I hate that last boss. Honestly, I hate all the bosses, but I really hate that
second
last
boss is fucking great. You're a
I
hater.
feel like this is relatable to like when you see like a really tall person in public, you know, like if you know them, it's not so bad. Like, oh, I know that they're okay.
Well, if you don't know them, then what?
Well, Grim Batal is getting a lot of hate as well. And
I don't know them. Fucking tall.
You know that no one on this podcast knows how tall I am, right?
Frank's
I know
222 centimeters.
I meant
tall.
none of our viewers. So what was that? What'd you say?
222
Frank is
centimeters.
222 centimeters tall.
That's
that was the answer he used to give in the bars for the ladies that would look up to him and be like, "Oh, how fucking tall are you, man? You play the NBA? Is your dad tall? How tall are you? What's the weather like up there?" And he's like, "Fuck off,
Mouse ladies."
Dude, yeah, all the Mickey Mice.
So, anyways, my question was going to be: is there a possibility that this might be, even though everyone's like really hyped about the expansion so far, is this season and the dungeon pool, I should say, a possibility of really being poorly remembered because of all the mechanics that people and Necrotic Wake, the third boss where you have to hook the boss off the platform, right?
Again, a great boss. I don't know what.
It's a great boss,
whole fucking dungeon,
but
dude.
a pug destroyer.
Yeah, pug destroyer is definitely a pug destroyer.
Because there's always that one clown. Or there's not enough DPS, whatever it may be.
Who
But
keeps
anyways,
running in front of it.
I was going to ask if you guys have any fears about that, season 1 being a concern of a season.
Pretty much. There were a few.
No, and let me
Your
just.
lady is so
Yeah.
loud.
Why is she screaming?
Why is
Because she
Lots of
heard
family
his,
stuff going on. Lots of family stuff
Yeah,
going on.
yeah.
She's on the phone with her
Yeah.
family.
she heard you talk about all the women that were walking up to us when we were in our
The Mickey
younger ages,
Mouses.
right? Yeah. All right, sorry, Scrappy, you were saying?
Was I saying? Okay, I'll
I don't
say.
Usually you are, right, Shawnee?
It's hard. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say. It's hard for me to tell until I see how the tuning is and how the timers feel, because it's like really difficult dungeons can have super cushy timers, and then I don't even like if you're
You don't
timing
care.
them. I'm not sweating it too much. And it's hard to say, like what's gonna be really painful, really punishing until we start dying at these bosses, seeing how long the run back is and stuff like that. Those are the things that make me think like this dungeon sucks. Like a really punishing boss with a really long run back is like gonna kill your timer, and we don't have the context of timer, so it's really hard for me to say. So far all the dungeons I've done have been pretty fun. If I had to guess, based on the ones that I've done, definitely that Siege of Borealis, that last boss is going to be like the new Plague Fall last boss. It's just
Like
gonna
the wiper.
everything is gonna fall apart there.
Hmm.
The tank is gonna fall in the water. Nobody's gonna be able to res them. Like
No,
somebody's gonna get yanked or knocked or like, and a whole timer is gonna just go down the toilet. So that if I had to pick one, I'd pick that one.
I like what you said about the timer. Like it'd be kind of nice if they just had like a muted timer on M0, just to give me an idea of like how
Give
we're
me an
doing. Yeah. And like a percentage counter would be cool. Like just warm me up into the idea of doing mythic keys. Like I gotta get X% and X time, but I don't have to do it on an M0. But like this is what I should be aiming for. I would have liked that.
That'd be
you,
nice, but I feel like it doesn't have a lot of play. Like if they're only doing M0s for like 1 week before Mythic Plus comes out.
No one
it's
is
like,
only doing M0s. We're only
That's
doing
what I'm saying,
M0s
then why
because
would
that's the only thing available.
No, I
No,
don't
but
even think
that's what
there's
I'm
not even
saying, is
people
why would they
doing
add
M0s.
stuff. What are you talking about?
There's not a single one queued. Every time I've checked. In the,
You're a DPS. Welcome to being a DPS again, Frank.
No,
I mean, this is how
I
it
can
is.
understand me having trouble getting into them. There's not a single one queued.
Plus, no one likes you, man.
Are you banned, brother? What's going on?
Too much rep.
All right, this is gonna be an episode where I'm not gonna get any actual conversation from you.
I have to clip all this out. Yeah.
Yeah, do the conversation. What? Okay.
No. Okay. So my question. Well, hold on. Technique. I had a side question I wanted to ask. Are you gonna play in your
All
own
right, hit
routes, or are you gonna use someone else's? Are you using MDT?
You know, like a little mix. I'm certainly not gonna just like gun for the the MDL route or MDI route, and just be like, that's my route. No, fuck all that, man. I'm definitely gonna do my version. You know me, dog. I don't give a fuck about what you're doing. Someone's gonna be like, oh, you're supposed to go this way. I'm like, fuck that. I'm going this way. That's just the way that I am.
All right.
And almost to spite someone else's
Of
like
course. What
this
else?
is the best way. Like, bitch.
When you
That's
pug
maybe
in,
the best way for a demon hunter.
let me talk
not
to
for
the
me.
audience. When you plug
Okay.
into a key and you have this tank that's just
I've
taking
never
a
plugged
whole
into a
goose
key. Oh,
chase,
them. Okay, them. Sorry.
them.
Never
and
plugged
you
in.
end up with a guy like that. This
Mhm.
is
It's
what
like,
he's
what's this
thinking.
guy
He's like,
doing?
I fucking love this. Like
Okay.
he's doing it entirely for his own enjoyment.
Just go like Necrotic Wake, for example, because I know this one very similar. Like you pull the first boss
They
and then you
changed
just
the
take the
count in
whole
Necrotic.
front room. You just take the whole front room, the whole first room. Just fucking take it all the nasty witches. Just
On what fucking planet,
just
man?
do
Are you
then you
doing
fail the
that?
key. It's fine, whatever.
They
You
did
pug,
change
good
the
luck.
count in Necrotic Wake, though.
Higher or lower?
I
You don't have to
can't
pug
remember.
if you're in
but-
the MDL. Just saying that to all the
Okay.
viewers. You don't
Well,
have to pug
okay,
if
fair
you're in the MDL.
All right, sorry, Shawnee, I didn't give you a chance to answer the question. Back to the first question of, do you think that there's a possibility that, because again, it's so surprising how many people are like saying this is the worst one. No, this is the worst one. No, this is the worst one. Are you
The worst.
concerned?
Which one's the best?
Well, hold on.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I'm super concerned, and I hope I'm wrong, but I'm dreading pugging this season. But
Which is why you're not going to do that for your IO?
but I've maybe been recruiting all my friends that I know from everywhere, so I don't have to pug at all. We'll see.
I really
yeah,
am worried about heal, Shawnee.
I'm worried about you guys and how you're gonna lose, and how it's gonna affect your
And
psyche.
how we're gonna take it.
But anyway, so, it's all about the focus. Yeah, I'm worried about pugging and how much it's gonna make me want to throw things, but I figure after raiding with you guys, nothing can be worse. So,
Goddamn, man. Goddamn.
For those who don't know, Shawnee, usually I think in M+, you'll be equally as chatty. Maybe not as subscribe
Were
call,
you
but
first DPS in all of the fights, or
who?
I
Shawnee?
don't remember seeing Shawnee in the top.
Oh no! Oh no!
40.
Oh no!
It's for the top
Let's
five.
Oh,
pull the fucking
no.
logs, bro. Let's go.
Oh no!
Was Lithia
no.
logging me? Lithia was like linking me the logs. I didn't even look at him. It was working like
asshole,
an adult.
boy.
But
if I was Lithian, I'd link you the logs too, so you know what a frontal looks like.
did I get hit by a lot of frontals? Is that
No,
what you're
you
trying
hit
to
He doesn't
say?
even
else.
remember.
Oh, that was on purpose. That was entirely
Yeah.
on purpose.
Yeah. Anyway,
This
what were you saying about
podcast
me,
has
Frank? I
devolved
can't wait to hear.
into cattiness, and I am going
Yeah,
to warn you
no.
both.
That's what
once.
people are here for. They want the kitty cats.
Will you let Shawnee answer the damn question?
I did, and then Frank was going to say something about me, and I
Well,
can't remember.
Well, and we can move on
Charming.
anyways, because I was just going to
Yeah.
ask you: is there a single dungeon you're worried about the most?
God, Dawnbreaker,
Really?
100%. Yeah, just I see people trying to like do like they're gonna be like, oh, we don't need to get the lieutenants here, just like come here and do this, and then it's just wiping and it collapsing, and like people not knowing which way to put the green stuff, and it just annihilating people.
That's her.
Yeah. No, it's
Me?
not actually. No, but just people in general. Like I just feel Dawnbreaker, and hopefully they fix the phasing through the floor.
I don't
Like-
want to get any shit on Dawnbreaker because I am fighting for my fucking life the entire time
While
that dungeon
vomiting?
is occurring.
Crap! Can we start a GoFundMe? You know what? Let's make a link
For what?
before we post this shit. We got to get you a rig that can support raid and
Oh my god, the raid is so fucking. I don't even know what. It's so
Gotta get our
laggy.
Windows before we worry about getting our rig.
That's true. Don't
Dude,
tell
I had to-
Microsoft that, man.
The graphics. at
Microsoft, if you
zero.
want to sponsor the show, all we need is a Windows key for scrap.
Yeah, just one
Just-
key.
Please.
She's not even
I don't need it.
activated.
No one can see it on stream, but if you guys were to pull up the full camera of scrap right now, in the bottom right corner would say, "Please
That's-
activate Windows."
That's why she's got it all blurry. She doesn't want the thing to show.
Literally on my screen, it's covering me.
Yeah.
It's just perfect. So I don't. I'm
Anyone
not bothered by
got
it.
a Windows key for us?
No,
Just
I
saying.
don't use Windows. Why would I need a key? It's fine.
Uh-huh.
I don't need to
Uh-huh.
activate it.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
back on
Next
topic.
topic,
Anyway.
So,
Yeah.
I just wanted to add though, Dawnbreaker is going to change significantly from what you're seeing in
Thank
M0 now.
God.
Anyways, no, it's not for the better. I
Can
think.
they just park the boats? That would be perfect.
I can understand that concern because obviously it does get a little dizzying. But no,
Yeah.
what I was going to say is that right now when we're doing M0, we're still not worried about count, but the count will require routing that you do
Yeah.
not see right now. Now, the good news is, in my opinion, for the game, not necessarily in the opinion for pugs and how we like to play, but it does give a free canvas of how you'd like to make the pulls that you can literally try all sorts of different things. Now, the reason why we don't like that in pugs is because no one communicates properly in pugs, and so they'll just start doing random shit, and Technique will
that's
be
gonna be tough in
spiteful
pugs.
and say, no, forget you, I want this entire square when he
Yeah.
makes the 120% of the route.
That's
So
better
yeah,
than 100%,
Dawnbreaker
isn't
I
it?
think is something that I would caution everyone be very careful going into the first couple of weeks, because the routing will require you to do more than you're currently doing in M0, which right now, as Johnny pointed out, is everyone just flying directly to the lieutenant and killing it. That's not going to be enough. All right, let's move on to the raid. So last night, as of filming, we did the normal difficulty raid. We got to the second to last boss, which is the council, I think, the Silken Council. And we got tripped up at the end of the night with the dispel mechanic
Tripped
on
up.
this. Well, the boss got tripped up, but
I know.
So
Laughing at your
I
fun.
walked away from that raid, and I was surprised to hear this from, I think, Technique, you said it the loudest, but I thought it was really easy. I thought we kind of really, it's the first of the
I had a
expansion.
hard time.
I thought like numbers
You
wise
were
it
eating
was
a
easy,
pizza.
but it had like a surprising number of mechanics that I was good with. It wasn't like, oh, this is difficult, or
Maybe
oh, this
for
is
a
too
tank-
easy. I thought it was pretty well balanced. Yeah.
I feel like there weren't a lot of DPS mechanics that were too tricky, Frank. I mean, what did you think?
I thought
Hold on. Bah. Scrap, you were dead every single fight.
Okay, I'm saying for the average person, not for me.
Okay.
I really,
That was easy. Dead.
No, the most of the time is because I was so zoned out because there was like nothing really
we'll
going
give,
on.
we'll
I
give
don't
him
know.
about 2
When
more
you were
minutes,
dead,
Johnny, to
there's
fight with
going
each
on.
other, and then we'll talk.
Yeah. Go on, Frank. What did you think?
I can't say that I'm really happy with the raid so far.
I don't know.
I
feel like-
loved
Negative.
the
Frank?
portal boss.
Let's hear it.
The portal boss that
yeah,
pulls
that
us in
boss
the
had a
middle. That
lot
was
going
good.
on. Oh my god, that one had a lot.
But every other boss, like even the egg boss, which I thought I was gonna love, it just felt like not as
Another
fun.
another
as the
brood
Broodmother
mother or
one.
whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah.
Broodmother was
with
done
that.
way better.
I get with that.
Worst Broodmother, don't you think? There was like not the two group. There's a lot of coordination on Broodmother that there was not really on.
Two teams. Two
Broodmother
teams.
was
This one
also
is just
the-
one.
Penultimate boss, so like it is going to be a different
That's
boss.
true.
But
That's true.
Maybe they add something in heroic that we didn't taste last night.
yes, I'm
we'll
hoping.
see.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I was
But
gonna say, when do we come away from a normal raid and be like, oh, those were like really good challenging mechanics or whatever?
When you're in your
I'm not-
20s, you can come however you want.
I'm not worried about the
Okay.
challenging side of it so much. It's more of just like was I wowed by it? Was I amazed by it?
Yeah.
And I like even the penultimate boss, the Silken Court. I like the idea of the tripping mechanic on that Anub guy.
It's cute, yeah.
Yeah, it's cute. But like it still feels sloppy. I don't know. It doesn't feel.
I'm kind of with you, Frank.
Some people like that,
I don't
man.
think we did 7 bosses last night or 6?
6.
We killed 6.
Saw 7.
The first 4, I mean, mind you, I was dead the whole time. I can't tell you what they were. Like I just I don't remember.
first 4? Who
There
knows?
was no standout mechanics that made me think this guy's cool or whatever. The portal one was pretty sick. That one seems like it's gonna take a little bit of dancing to kind of figure it out, which is what I like. But the first 4 was just kind of like I don't remember
Well, hold on.
them.
The first boss, actually, now that I think about it, was kind of fun being able to just feed him.
I can't speak to that one because
Yeah,
I
I
did
like that
the
one.
first thing that could kill you, and then I ate pizza for 4 minutes.
Shawnee, what did you think
So
of the first boss?
For just the first one?
Yeah,
Or all of them?
we'll start right there.
What was his mechanics again?
So
They're all-
he would do the train across the platform while the
the
bugs
guy
were
we had
spawning.
to feed?
Yeah.
He was alright. I thought, honestly, all of them were just, alright to me. I didn't want to, jump out my office window, so raid went well.
not yet.
Alright.
No, I thought it was fine. It's normal, so we did
Yeah,
better than
considering-
I expected.
Right.
Honestly,
Mhm.
I thought we were going to get, 4 bosses, and I was going to be like, what the shit?
Yeah, we kind of crushed through it.
Yeah, we didn't
But I
have
was-
any gear.
Yeah, we had
Yeah,
a lot of people.
To be fair, like our raid, we don't discriminate. We literally just whoever wants an invite, we invite them, we bring them, and if they suck, they're still in the party, whatever. And some people
We'll
are
hit that
okay,
wall
and
at the
some
end
people
of heroic.
suck, and whatever. So like Shani was saying, for normal, I pretty much got what I expected. I feel like, but as far as the encounter design, The first one was all right. You don't feed many bosses in WoW, so that was kind of all right. Wasn't anything super challenging or anything. But I really loved boss number 4. I think it was that for all my Dota 2 fans, if you played or play against an Ember Spirit, like it was a lot like that. It reminded me of that, and I was like, oh, kind of cool.
Wait,
that's
hold
about
on.
as much as
Ember Spirit.
yeah. Yeah, it's got like the little beam, and you get walk into it, it like sucks you in, you know, and you can like teleport around the room, you know, like
I
that.
genuinely have no idea
The
what
one where
you're
you split
talking
into
about.
2 groups.
Ember Spirit versus the
No.
assassin boss.
The
The one
group
that does the portals and the assassin.
Okay, the
Oh,
portal.
yeah,
The
we were
portal
talking
boss.
to me
Okay.
like that one.
Okay.
Portal
Okay.
boss.
Yeah, okay.
And the portals and the beams.
Yeah, that one was
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. Well, the other thing I wanted to ask y'all, because I was genuinely and happily surprised, I got a Warbound Until Equipped item last night.
Is that what they're gonna be called? Woos?
Yeah,
they're
Wooies?
They're woos.
Yeah, it was.
Woo woo
It
woo.
was the best eye level item I've received all expansion. And it was a fist
For a
weapon.
character you don't play.
Well, that I'm going to send to my shaman who I was going to level. So I was like, oh, that's really nice. And it's actually an item that is very useful. It's a main hand weapon. Like, that's awesome. But I wanted to ask y'all, because when we talked about this way back when, Technique, you didn't understand the concept at all, and you seem to really hate the idea of it. But I wanted to ask y'all, oh, he's nodding his head yes. Are you still feeling that way? Is Woo good, bad for the game? And I think
I'd rather have
who
a
got one last
BOE.
night? Of course you would.
Yeah, I'd way rather
mean,
have a BOE.
I'm kind of in that bank. You know, I mean, so it seems like the wooey. Not sure why they're pronounced woo.
It's
Someone's
woo.
from
Just deal with it. It's
from
woo.
England or something. But yeah, these wooies they drop and
he's
it's
going
like
to commit to it.
they must be extra loot. And if that's the case, that's okay. I trashed mine. I fucking threw it away because I don't have alts. You know.
Yeah, it's 80 gold for you or whatever.
Yeah, it was gold. That was cool, man. I love gold.
No, he trashed it. He threw it on the ground.
I just spit on it and throw it away and give it to some passerby.
Dude, you know
No,
what
but,
they
you know,
should
I
do?
mean-
Oh, go on.
Tell us, scrap. No, yeah, please.
I was gonna say they should have a disenchanter in the dungeon in the raid that you can just turn in your woo for like mats if you want to.
No.
Okay, never mind.
That's-
You're right,
Well,
that was stupid.
Well,
No, because I'm the same with you.
Well, hold
Technique.
on.
I mean, I tossed mine. I got.
It was gold for me. It was just fucking garbage.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, if it had been a cloth piece, I may have given it to my alt. So I might have been a little more happy about it, to be
Okay.
fair. Because
Well,
I do have
didn't
one.
you get a woo for
alt.
plate? I thought someone said last
Yeah,
night.
I got a plate woo, and I
Plate
have
woo.
better item on my main. So like, why would I give it to someone else? I don't know. It was weird.
I will say I'm not against the concept of woos. We didn't have any BOEs drop, so I'm like, is it in place of BOEs? Because that
No.
would suck.
No.
They should be at
We
least
didn't have
tradable.
any.
I think.
Nobody
and
don't
are they-
always have
are
a
they
BOE.
tradable? Can they be
What?
traded?
No, it was
Yeah.
We did the whole raid and
See, I
nobody
feel
got a
like-
single one.
I feel like why not? Like, it should be like tradable or warbound. Of course,
Well,
maybe they're just trying to like prevent
it's-
arguments.
It's a
Yeah.
Between, like-
it's a bonus roll, so it doesn't affect anything else like BOE scrap. And
I don't know.
Legendary, I never got.
Sorry.
I've seen the anecdotal data that I took last night, and there was a lot of woos
She
and
had,
no bows.
she had 6 rolls and none of them rolled a 1. So we are Shawnee. Did you get a woo last night?
I didn't get a woo, and I didn't get one piece of loot.
Yeah, I just got a
Yeah, we
woo.
only
No.
We only did 6 bosses, and we had like 25 people. I swear.
I feel like I rolled on like 7 things, but not a single.
Yeah, I
one.
rolled on
I
lots.
rolled on
just lost.
everything. Yeah.
I got a lot of items. It felt really good.
I got a trinket, which is pretty hype, but that's the only thing I
I
got.
passed on
He's
more items
leaning
than
into the
Frank got.
camera to take up the whole space there. So the thing that we learned that's a cherry on top of all this woo stories is that you can woo tier pieces as well. And I thought that was something no one ever thought of. I don't think I remember anyone asking that question of, oh wait, can you get a tier piece? But it's a pleasant surprise. And I think it also
Is it? But what if you need a tier piece on your main and you get a fucking
But it's also a
cloth
veteran
woo?
piece. Any woos you looted yesterday were veteran, not champion. Are you veteran or champion? What's
well,
going to be?
That would
my
piss me
my
off.
woo was item level 609, the highest item level I have on
What? That's
Yeah.
how high they're making the woos?
Yeah.
I don't like that. It should be lower.
It should be lower, and
It
and
should be lower.
I don't know if it's a bug or not, but I was
Why
again
is that higher
surprised.
than the gear that's dropping from the raid?
No, I need to double check.
It would have
that.
been
The raid is not dropping
yeah.
609 gear.
I'll need to
girl.
double check
It dropped
It was
up to 600, and
I'll
you can
double check
upgrade
it.
it.
I'll double check it. I'm almost certain it was 609, but
Okay, that seems excessive for a woo.
you're right. You're right. I'll put a screenshot up of it here.
Maybe
once
we didn't kill the last boss, so certainly not.
No,
the
we
last boss.
haven't.
No.
We didn't even kill the penultimate boss, so we are not getting the high
But-
level stuff.
Is the tier pieces something like so? Scrap. You have your warrior. Is that something that maybe?
I will say it is nice. I have a whole set of armor pretty much for my warrior just from like leveling and doing shit. I have like a whole load of woos that I've been throwing in the bank for her. So I'm pretty much kidding, which is cool. Now, if I got a fucking tier piece for my warrior before I got one for my main, I would be pretty upset.
First
I
world
would be mad.
problems, right?
I would probably talk about it a lot. All night, maybe even, and everybody would get sick of me because that is a first world ass problem, but it is still a problem, and I would not like that.
What about
That's
you,
my
Shani?
opinion.
It makes no difference to me. If I
Okay,
get
it
a woo
rolls
for
off
an
me.
alt, yeah, I'm just like, it is what it is. Like, I think it's fine. I don't think it was probably a 609. Sounds too
I know
high.
it does, but I'm
Sounds
certain.
braggadocious.
I'm like
Because
not that.
I
certain,
remember
but
they
I'm
said it
certain.
was supposed to drop gear one tier level below what you had.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah,
It was
I'm okay
definitely
with it.
purple.
Yeah, I'm okay with it though. I think it's good overall for the game, in the sense of like a lot of people do have alts. A lot of people are running multiple tunes through multiple raids. So yeah, I give them a little something. Like Scrap already has a full set of gear, and I'm like, I think to myself like, that's nice. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't
Yeah, it's
bother
like-
me at all.
570 stuff, pretty much.
Yeah.
No 609s on either character.
But I'd be totally fine if like I got a piece of gear that would go to an alt. Heck, if I got it like 4 weeks in a row, I guess I'm changing my main. Like,
Just
Right,
constantly giving you tier
right.
pieces.
It's like the universe
Right.
is telling me to play my other shit.
Okay. Well, we are now going to be staring down the barrel of a tuning pass. I think we said this last week about every other week is apparently Blizzard's philosophy on when they're going to do tuning passes. We didn't see anything major, if anything at all, this week. And so I wanted to ask you guys two questions. The first is, we've seen raid, we've seen some damage output numbers. Is there anything that stood out to you? I have one that in particular, I'm sure one of you guys might say it based on what we talked about in raid last night. But the second question I want to ask you is, this is more a philosophical question. How do you think Blizzard should handle tuning when it comes to things like this? Like, we obviously always want the game to be perfectly tuned, but when we're staring down the barrel of a race to world first, when we're staring down the barrel of people committing to classes, after 3-4 weeks of preparing, what do you believe the methodology should be? So we'll get to that in a second. Let's start with what you saw last night. Any concerns of what should be addressed as far as the meters go?
Just as far as like a DPS taking it away.
Do you think
like
survival needs to be buffed? Do you think arcane needs to be nerfed?
No, I think it's fine. Valnor was holding the top 5 spots for me.
Yeah, Valnor finished number 1 on one of the fights.
Yeah. So I it's hard to say because nobody has their set pieces, right? And I know that mine, I do expect a pretty big jump with a set piece.
It's 3 to 5%.
Plus, like the being alive part could help you to do damage as well. One thing I learned from a guild master way back when I was like, I don't know, 12.
Right. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember.
Wait, I want to hear techniques thing. Hold on. What's he saying?
Come on.
He said your DPS doesn't matter if you're on the ground.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. You're dead.
All right.
And I said, oh,
yes,
that's so smart. That dude's name was USDA. I hope you're watching, USDA.
Literally shocking to me every time I hear that bit of advice, honestly. Like, it doesn't seem right. But no, there wasn't anybody taking over the meters, I don't think. Like, so what did you think? I don't think anybody was consistently number 1.
There's 2 things that stood out to me, both from raid and M+. The first was all the people in balance crying and fucking crying
about we had
their
a monster at the top. That's fine.
And like I thought I did well, but there were 2 fights that they beat me on, right? And I have no problem with that. That's great. But I immediately thought of, and I'm not going to name them the YouTuber. You guys all know who it is, of who put a video out about how bad balance is. Not only, again, gameplays wise, I'm not going to argue about that. That's completely reasonable. But how poorly they were going to perform. Yes, there is still a lot of gear to go. I get that, but it just
But
like
Frank, they weren't far away from anybody else. I feel like the top of the meter is pretty even the whole night. Wasn't
no,
it?
the our balance druid was topping top 3 every fight.
Yeah, but they weren't like there wasn't like a third ahead of anybody. I don't think there was
No,
anything.
but that's my
struck me as
point.
a
They were supposed to be a
balance
third
issue.
behind everybody. That's
Okay,
what everyone's been
that's-
complaining about.
So it's tuned better than expected.
they-
I understand what your angle is, but I feel like it didn't. Nothing struck me as unusual.
There was
I
a
guess.
quote, I think,
Bouncers
from
really
Max
good.
on the Potty C about how balanced druids are the best at gaslighting, and it immediately was like brought to light. The second boss they finished number 1. Again, I know
feel
there's
like
a
that
lot
is
more
true.
to it, but my point being is that all these tier lists, they're all still bullshit, and I don't know why anyone listens to them. All right.
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to say though was I think there needs to be a little bit of a pass, not on the damage of tanks, but on the threat of tanks.
Oh,
How do you mean?
why would you
Like,
say that, Frank?
You know exactly why I'd say that.
No, Frank, you're
Because-
misbehaving in the key.
No, because it wasn't just, yes, I was misbehaving in that key. I won't.
Yes.
No, but I also, I'm not talking about that necessarily. There was a key, it wasn't a key, it was a heroic with pleb. Who was in there with me? Was it you, Shani?
I was.
Did you
yeah.
wait for 3 mauls on the
Yes,
target?
no, all I did
There's
was
no way.
evocate. I evocated, which generates no threat. And then I arcane explosion, which I had no stacks of arcane, so it does like 8 damage. It does nothing, right?
Mhm.
I just wanted to get a stack going so that when he said I could go, I could go. And I pulled like 6 little mobs onto me, and of course they meleeed me to death. Now, granted, that might have just Pleb's a great player, so please do not take this away as like this.
Yes,
is
he
Pleb's fault.
is, and I'm positive that it was user error on your part and not on his part.
But what do I? But
Positive.
that's my point, though. Like, what do I do? Like, is that how you want to
So
play
you
the
gotta
game where you have
wait
to
for
wait
3
6
mauls.
seconds?
You gotta wait for 3 mauls. It's been that way for fucking 4
No, it hasn't.
expansions.
No,
I think
it
it's
hasn't.
a technical issue with more like a feral druid threat or
Guardian
bear
druid.
Bounce druid
druid.
threat.
I think they've been
Yeah,
kind
because
of crying
lithium was
about
also a
Yeah.
problem.
data.
Yeah, Latinos having
Yeah.
that problem too.
I haven't had any major issues. Like normally when I see a threat issue, it's because I didn't hit the mobs with a clap or like a revenge. But if I hit them with something like I got threat. I haven't had threat issues like that as a warrior. But
I think you need more data, Frank.
Yeah, I can. It may be a druid specific threat issue. To be fair,
Okay,
Frank,
well,
if we played together anymore, if you love me anymore,
Technique, if you played with him, you know exactly what the problem is that he's off pulling stuff on the right while you're pulling stuff over here, and then he's dying.
That's
He's like,
true.
what happened?
He'll always be like, "Fucking blast!" I'm like, "Bro, we're over here. What are you doing?"
everything is
exactly.
documented. Scrap. You are
everything is
balanced.
documented.
You are the balanced druid of this podcast. You are gaslighting like crazy.
You went from saying, "Oh, this balance druid's talking about all this anecdotal shit," to you saying the most anecdotal shit I've ever heard in my life. Like,
Scrap trying. You
I will
remember?
accept that
problem.
criticism. I will accept that criticism.
You remember?
But I still stand by it.
I'm hosting a very specific melee-centric attack power group. If you
Yeah,
guys need a group,
I'm
Mage is
ready.
not invited.
mages are not invited. I've heard this.
Shawnee, she's not going to make it past 2K, let alone 3K.
I'm going all the way.
Oh
Um,
my.
All right. Second part of the question. This is the more, probably the thought out question to answer. Is all right. So you're Blizzard. You're the lead developers. You're Ian Hazacostas. It is time to launch the Mythic raid. It is time to watch the Race to World first. It's time to watch everyone officially say, "This is my main." What do you do with balancing at this point? What are the gentle or heavy touches that you do? Shawnee, kick us off.
I've always felt that when they look at that, instead of nerfing people, they should bring the other people up to the top end. So you're not punishing the people that happen to pick a spec and they're like, oh, now we're going to bring you down to these other people. I don't think it's fair or right, especially if you're like, oh, I'm doing well. It's like, why can't everyone enjoy your same goodness instead of you being nerfed? That's how I
And I
feel
think on
about it.
top of that, Shawnee, I think definitely don't be like, let's nerf Vengeance Demon Hunters because they've been carrying the tank game for 2 seasons. But instead, let's take the bottom tanks, maybe, I don't know, warriors possibly, and give them things that make them similar and slightly better than Vengeance Demon Hunters this season. I think not only do we not nerf the VDH or similar classes that have been strong all season, but then we also consider like buffing other classes and making a little bit of a change. Like I would hate to see the same meta this season as we saw last season in Dragonflight, all through Dragonflight. Forget season expansion. It was a spellcaster, VDH tank, fucking mage, priest,
the priest
whatever
is-
the
I'm curious what
Hog
this
at
is
the
gonna
stupid
be.
dragon bitch was. Where
Evoker.
Evoker Og, and I don't know, some warlock
Resto
maybe.
Druid.
Right?
No, it's Og,
Some-
Mage, and Priest, and then Venge and
Resto Druid.
And then
I think
some
you-
healer,
Druid.
right?
Yeah, Druid.
I would like to see the meta change, but also without nerfing the strong classes. Like, okay, they like that. They've become accustomed to it. They probably want to do it again. Let's just give someone else. Let's just buff the numbers. I agree.
Hey, but hold on. I want to jump in on something to clarify because I don't want to misunderstand it. You said, so like, for example, Vengeance Demon Hunter. It may not be that their damage profile or their defensive profile is what makes them meta. It's their skills. their
Either of those
spells,
things,
right?
I
And
think
you're
it's
saying-
their ability to bring mobs together. They have
Yeah, cluster, right?
I've never played one, but they have like an AOE silence and they have an AOE come and get me type ability, like
A
like
mass
come here.
Yeah.
Like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Like, come on.
Well, they mass
that.
grip onto a spot instead of themselves,
Yeah.
which DKs.
If
do
a
mass
warrior
grip on
could do
themselves.
that, it would be fucking no question.
That
we'd
was
be
my
the best
question.
team.
Like, are you suggesting that they give spells like that out?
No, but they did. So they did kind of lean into that a little bit by giving us our disrupting shout, add on to the existing challenging shout, the AoE taunt. But I think the cooldown is a bit much. It probably needs to be reduced, or at least have some sort of like reduction modifier to it. So right now it's got a 1.5-minute cooldown where I can AoE taunt and silence everything around me. 1.5 minutes in a mythic dungeon is, I need twice that. I need twice
Well,
that.
I mean, 1.5 minutes is like every other pull. So
Well, and Vengeance only has 1:15.
A minute.
A minute. Okay.
I don't
I'm
think
pretty.
there's
I'm pretty sure it's
but it
on a
has to be.
minute.
75 seconds.
And it
but
used to
okay.
have 2 charges. So just
Oh.
comparing
Yeah, but that's gone.
the
But that's
two-
gone. They've already
Right,
made that change.
okay, now, but compare 2
living
charges
in
of
the
that
past, man.
versus 0 charges is what we're coming from, and now I have 1 charge with a smaller cooldown than my 1 charge. Anyway, I mean, it's like when you think about like a lot of, now I'm not saying the Warriors tool set's completely useless. Like we have a lot of stuns and a lot of fears and stuff that can help to interrupt, but it doesn't help to clump things, and that's really where I think the Demon Hunter prevails. Is they just get things in a group easier for things to be DPS
But
and to be
okay,
controlled by other members.
I don't want to go down a rabbit
Yeah,
hole too
also-
long on this though. But then okay, but are you willing to give up spell reflect for that?
Yeah, Spell Reflect's immensely powerful.
It is in certain scenarios, but it doesn't like make the group stronger. It makes me a little tankier. You know what I mean? It like the fact that I can
Yeah.
bring the whole pull into a pile much easier is pretty strong for M plus specifically. Now in raids, I love Spell Reflect, and I think it's super strong. And that and that's a good trade off. I think it's okay if maybe VDH is a little stronger than me in a mythic, and I'm a little stronger than them in a tanking for a raid. Fine, I'm good with that trade off.
Yeah.
I am.
Well, let's get back to the tuning itself then, the numbers. Scrap, we haven't heard from you on this subject, which is surprising. So
I mean, because I don't have a lot to say on this subject. I don't have enough data to kind of. Well, I guess if the question
Too
is,
dead.
how do you approach tuning, right? Is
Yeah,
that kind of like
the
crux
philosophy of it, not the numbers. Yeah.
Right. I think tuning every other week is good. I think tuning every week would be too much. I think going more than every week, especially when World First is happening and other guilds are trying to get cutting edge and stuff early in the season, going longer than every other week would be too little, right?
Yeah.
Because we're starting to get this data and see like consistent groups of guilds struggling on this boss or like consistently have like VDH tanks or whatever the hell, right? I mean, I like to assume I like to assume they're doing the best they can, right? Like I I don't have too much of a problem. I'm not a first pusher, so I can't say I have a lot of issues with how they tune stuff. You know,
Well,
it's not affecting me too much, you know?
But what if it does? Okay, so let's say, for example, they come out tomorrow and they say survivals. You have no reason to expect a nerf tomorrow, right?
Frank, last season, right, was a bullshit season or whatever. The entire fucking season we were using our 4 set from the previous one, and they buffed warlocks. Like, I already am beyond complaining about that.
I thought you said you have nothing to say about the matter.
No, I'm thinking about tuning the raid, right?
No.
Classes?
Tuning classes, not the raid. Don't worry about the raid.
So I don't know. I feel like the way they do
Why
it
did you
is.
think we were talking about the raid when he talked about warriors for like 10 minutes?
Well, I thought he was off topic. I don't know. Like,
I was.
because you were talking about world first tuning, class tuning. I mean, the problem is, I think they do, like, if there's a large clump of people at the top, addressing that is more important than bringing up the people from the bottom.
Okay, so you're the inverse of these two.
No, I'm trying to give them logic. I obviously most of the time my class is at the bottom and is overlooked because there's a low percentage of people who play it. It's a very I mean, maybe it'll change,
Well,
but
okay,
Scrap giving logic. I like it.
so I understand why they focus more on the stuff where it's like, okay, fucking, augment evoker is running away with everything. We need to kind of make adjustments. That makes sense because it's affecting people pushing 30s or whatever. Whereas like Survival Hunter still using their old 4 set isn't affecting
No, of
the
course.
problems.
I think that was an egregious one.
Yeah, right.
But in fairness, who voted for that 4 set?
I did not. I think people were trolling us. Genuinely. I think people were fucking trolling us, honestly. Like, and a voting
You
thing,
made
I
your
am
bed,
absolutely
Scrap.
against.
The voting thing
should-
was fucking dumb, dude. They need to get their shit in straight.
Never fucking do a vote again because people are so stupid. We know people are stupid. We live in America, most of us, so we know that democracy falls apart, right? Like, so.
Careful there, Scrappy.
Yeah, it's
You
not
offend,
perfect.
you might offend technique.
Me?
Here's what they should do. They need to address large outliers at the top and the bottom.
Make
But I
Azeroth
understand.
great again.
I understand why they focus on the top as opposed to the bottom.
No, and
Is that
so
a fair opinion?
well, yes. And what I wanted to ask you is, right, so like you said that like survival hunters, which is what you were referring to when you said that we're
that's
sitting at the bottom,
generally where I'm coming from.
is they're not getting buffs because there's so few people. Let's not even say playing it,
I don't
but like
want to
speaking out
complain
about
too
it.
much because we got a really gigantic, enormous rework, and we're gonna get another pretty big rework at 11.0.5 or 11.05, whatever the next one is,
next
the
patch.
mid-season patch. Yeah, so there are eyes on the subject. It is bizarre that a whole season was just kind of like, forget it, like.
Season 4 is that way though.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was ever that much a slap in the face to anybody.
No, maybe not, but
that was pretty brutal. Yeah,
so,
I don't
but
know.
you're saying you would
I'm not
pull the
complaining.
top back as well.
Focus on the top because the top.
Focus on the top.
I agree with them focusing on the top because it's they don't want people pushing 35s with exploits. They don't want to stop people from exploiting. And if they've over or under tuned something, mess up the tuning of something so bad that it's cheesing stuff, it needs.
Hold on, no. You can't cheese with a number. Like if my let's say my meter is showing 20% higher than your meter, that's not cheesing. That is just balance, right? So
again,
what
I would find that annoying, Frank. But at the same time,
for who? For you or for me?
For me.
Uh-huh.
If you're doing 20% better than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be super fucking annoying.
I know. So how would you handle it? Would you take the wrecking ball to the wall, or would you have a gentle touch to not impact? Like, would you pull me back, or would you boost you?
I'd pull you back because I bet it would be easier.
Sorry,
than bringing
Shawnee and Technique.
up.
I didn't know it would take 20 minutes to explain the question to Scrap.
I'm extremely ADHD. I remember you. Okay. I remember how you did the question first when you were asking Shawnee about it. I understand now. I got a very.
I just don't want them exploding at a 35.
No, I think, and when you were asking Shawnee this, I was thinking this in my head. I was like, this would be the answer to that question in my head, but I didn't want to interrupt. I would.
Didn't want to interrupt.
No,
Shawnee, no, just Shawnee. She only cares about that.
Forgive me. I would bring people down, not pull people up, because if one person is running away with it, I feel like it's way easier to fucking turn the knob on one guy than turn the knob on 20 people who have complicated interactions with spells.
That's true. Okay. Do you think they should worry about? Okay, so I'm the arcane mage. Sims say that I'm
Right.
supposed to be like 20% ahead, right? And that's a very rough estimation. Like, do not hold me to that 20, but let's say that's where I'm at, right? Let's say like we go to raid 5 weeks from now, and I'm not only cruising ahead of everyone, but I'm able to like eat a pizza while dead for half of the fight and still,
Yeah.
you know, 5th on the meter or whatever. Do you think it's fair to me? And I'm not saying, you know, there's a right or wrong answer here, but do you think it's fair to me to hammer me back down despite the effort I put into learning arcane, gearing my mage, and, you know, now deciding I want to throw him away because I'm gonna go play my shaman who's second best on the meter because I'm a
I think
bottom
it's-
chaser?
I mean, to me, I think that I want to say like stop being a baby. Like like
I
you
would
should
say
not
that.
be 20% ahead of people who are playing at the same skill level as you.
Do you
I'm
think though
like-
that sometimes they can get too heavy-handed and knock me down from, because again, like maybe they say,
course.
well, he should be in first. It's okay to be in first, but we just don't want you
It's okay
20%
to be in
ahead.
first.
They tune the
Yeah.
dial down, right? And again, this is like week 6, let's just say. They tune the dial down and I fall down to like midway of the pack.
When does that happen? I feel like I've never seen that happen, but I'm also not that focused on other
It's-
people's shit.
Yeah, and in
Like,
fairness,
when has somebody been at the top at the beginning of the season and then at the bottom? No, they're always still towards the top.
okay, so
They're
the
just
one
not
example that
20%
I was told through this was the bench podcast that gave an example. Squishy, who's one of the writers for Wowhead, said he called it
Okay.
Bloody Sunday, right? He
Hey,
couldn't
see,
remember.
That's the kind of dramatism that I'm
No,
like,
the reason
chill.
why is because Blood DK was
okay, that's
nerfed
fair
on the Sunday before a patch, right?
Mhm.
And they went from number 1 to number 6 or whatever in the tanks, right? It just like completely destroyed them. Okay, now that was a
Meanwhile, what happened to
single
prop pallies, man?
Well, so but prop pallies, like we kind of saw this coming from a mile away, right?
Well,
So-
I know they like completely ditched existing prop pally and said, "Hey, here's a new one. Try it."
No,
So-
not completely. No. All they changed. I shouldn't say all they. The major summary of it is that our defensiveness came from standing in consecrate, which is our mastery. The problem is
They
if you
removed that.
stepped out. No, they didn't remove it. They just they balanced the defensiveness back to our shield of righteous and stuff. But the original problem was that if I was in consecrate, I was unkillable. But the second I stood out of it because of a mechanic, I was very squishy, right? So they said, oh, that's
Okay.
not a good design mechanic. And, I think everyone agrees. Like, yeah, we think that would be better to balance it to be that you can step out of your consecrate and survive without having to worry about it. The balancing didn't go very well, as far as I can tell. And so, yeah, now paladins are losing a bit of their defensiveness and self-heal. Now, there is some things in the next patch that's supposed to address this. Some new talents as well coming, although when I look at the talents, nothing really stood out to me other than buffing Word of Glory by 20%. That may not be enough, though.
No, you shouldn't be healing yourself, man. That's stupid.
Why?
He's trying to derail you.
Yeah, this is like the presidential debate. He's baiting me.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's baiting you.
No, I don't think that. I think you're doing a weaker. I'm gonna be as PC as I can here because I
Oh,
really
no.
want to say a word that I can't. A weaker, boringer version
What
of.
was he gonna say?
I don't know.
Let the audience wonder.
Put in the comments what you thought he was going to say.
Oh,
And
A
we
weaker
won't blame you if
and
you
not
say anything
as
slurs.
fun version of like Death Strike. Like I want to heal myself, for example, as a tank. Obviously, I love that
Why
Word
are you
of
playing
Glory
a warrior?
I want to. I don't have to heal myself. I actually took Indomitable off. I was like, fuck that. Don't need it.
I
Heal
don't know
myself.
who the
Are?
Indomitable is because no one plays prop warrior.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. It's a passive heal. They nerfed it, so I was like, I don't want it anymore. Fuck it. So I took something else. But anyway, yeah. So I'm basically saying like Word of Glory is like a bitchier version of Death Strike.
Yes, but
You're gonna
so
just heal
it's a scale,
someone
right?
versus do some damage and heal someone yourself.
No, it's a scale
Person
though,
that
right? So
matters.
like DK, and I think Vengeance has this as well, are on the side of self-healing like crazy, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Whereas prop warrior, excuse me, you guys have a ton of shields, which is technically
Yeah, the
considered healing,
mitigation.
right? No, but
I can take
shields
damage, man.
like absorb shields, right?
Yeah.
Brewmasters have absorb shields, but they also
I
have
know what
heals,
pain feels like.
right? But what I'm saying is there's this
He
scale
ignores
where it's
it.
like mitigation versus self-heal. Paladins have like on the slider of that scale, they're not where prot warriors are with mitigation. They're not
telling me-
where
They still think the light exists. How fucking weird.
Are we talking about the design philosophy of tanks now? How did this happen?
I mean, we're so far off whatever this was now.
What
are we
point-
listening
what
to?
bullet are we on?
Narnia.
Yeah, what bullet are we on?
Delves, let's talk about that. No.
Go back to
No,
Settles.
what I'm
That's
trying
some
to
next
get
week's
at
thing.
here, and I apologize because again I get baited by technique in his fucking tank conversations.
What are you talking
What I'm
baited?
saying though is we were talking about
Tuning.
tuning.
Balancing,
There you go. I'm
tuning,
saying
yeah.
nerfs. Tuning. Prop Paladin is notoriously outbalanced right now, and if anything, I would say that's the one thing they need to work on in this tuning pass because I don't think I hear Arcane needs to be nerfed, and I'm not going to argue against it, but I don't think we saw anything egregious so far. In fact,
you were like 20 item levels lower than Shawnee, and you were crushing him in that key.
yeah, but he has terrible single target.
Crushing him is
Well,
a
I mean,
bit of a stretch. He was
a
ahead
bit
of
of
me.
a stretch. She
Right.
was ahead, yeah. But
Why
I would
wait,
say
why
that
did you
needs to
choose
be done.
Shawnee, by the way?
I'm not
What-
choosing
what's
me.
it?
Why are you catching
what?
strays? What the
Shawnee
hell?
is, I'm the same item level as you. Shawnee is higher.
Yeah, I am the king of catching strays.
Shawnee, do you
Like-
want to go back to talking
You're
about
right here,
tanks
right?
so you can stay safe?
No,
I'll
no.
probably somehow be like, you know how Shawnee plays Rhett, which is close to protection pally.
Brett has self-healing, unlike Shawnee, who
Can I-
doesn't heal himself ever.
Can I bring a point home here, Frank?
Please.
I would love to get this
Please.
thing moving.
You're saying, prop pally's always behind, blah, blah, blah. But what do we always
not
fucking
always-
talk about? Okay, hold on. Let me bring my point home. What do we always talk about? At the level we play at, it doesn't fucking matter that much.
It does for
Like-
Prop Paladin.
Don't lose
What the
our
fuck are
audience.
you
These people
talking
care
about?
about this conversation.
Scrap.
When
I agree
have
with
you
you.
ever
I
had
agree
issue
with
with
you
a prop
99% of the time. Prop Paladin. Scrap, do you remember that quote from the person that was doing a 2
What
with
person?
when I was on beta? I was recording for
beta?
Keystone
Who
Connect.
are the people on beta are idiots.
This is
I
where I
don't-
wish, Shawnee, that we had PTI where I can mute her.
Yeah.
What's you
Or-
need a
Anyways.
button
Around
that
the horn,
flares
just
up and says "shut up."
You
Yeah,
have a
around the horn,
keybind
sorry,
for
not
that?
PTI.
I
Around
do.
the horn.
Um,
No, don't
Shawnee,
mute me. I'm
to your
telling you.
point, and by your point, I mean I'm gonna just talk to you as if you're
Shawnee's
Scrap because I don't
point.
want her to
Yeah,
respond to it.
for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, with the way we play, it's not a problem. However, Prop Paladin is a problem to enough an extent that if you're doing even a +2, it felt dangerous. But
every season you're getting up to 3K in your prop pally. Like
Scrap,
we're
the
why-
tuning we're
like-
discussing
I'm-
right now is this season.
I
Not
think
last
genuinely-
season, not last
fucking
season,
clue.
not last season.
I don't know that we have any clue because we heard from people on beta. Oh, Mythic Zeros are gonna be really hard.
Yeah, well, that was all fed from the social media of Blizzard.
I'm just saying I can't. I'm not gonna say anything about tuning and shit of the season until I fucking seen it with timers and crap.
Okay.
I mean,
Frank,
I'm
I
gonna see
think-
a
I
lot,
think-
but I can't give a real opinion.
I'm going to timestamp this real quick, and
Timestamp it.
in
and
6
then
weeks,
send me a chocolate hat.
when we have the tier of tier lists, right? That we've built of our pugs, and Scrap goes on to say, "Yeah, Prop Paladins, they just can't stay alive." You know?
Yeah, right.
Okay, we'll
I
move
think-
on then
I think
from that.
hang on one quick
Okay.
point. I think let's maybe revisit this quick pop because it's been a long time since Prop Paladin's been at the bottom of tanks, right? It's been a while, I think. And
Those have been
so
at the bottom, but not far at
dude,
the bottom in Dragonflight. You know.
Tank balancing
shut
for
up,
the
Frank.
past couple expansions has been amazing.
Yeah, I think balancing the last couple
Oh my
expansions
God.
has been amazing in general. As much as we
some
we
purple
keep
guys
trolling
at the
you,
top
Frank,
and everyone else is falling off the other side. It literally is that bad. 80-something% VDH
So you
versus
think that
the rest of the tanks.
VDH being
is how
S
it's been.
tier, every other tank was D tier?
No. That's not. I'm just talking numbers, man.
You just
It's
said
literally-
falling off the other side.
It's literally 80% VDH and everyone else is the other way. That's
At the
It's
20
literally
plus
outweigh 20.
window.
in what key level? In what
It-
season? Well, you're just pulling
anything
information
10
out of your ass.
plus. No, I mean
Okay.
10 plus. Do the math. Do the question. Do
That's
the
a lot
things.
of keys.
Anyway, all I was going to
10
say is
plus.
maybe
All
we
right.
consider.
I'm going to
Maybe
move
we
on
consider
to
the prop paladin position
a
coming
place-
next week because I'm excited.
I'm going to consider the tank topic real quick because we've been talking about delves. We've been talking about how they're harder than we thought. And
No.
the one
No,
That's what I could be
Not
doing right
hard.
now.
Scrap. You're saying they're not hard.
not hard.
Okay, what is
That is a lie.
what is your current delve status?
I did 4/8 solo without dying. The most I died was 3 times, and it's because I was being a 5 head.
But do you think they're
I'll
harder
be one of those
than
ones,
you
man.
thought they were
Remember-
going to be?
So
You're
no.
dying.
Well, yeah, because I'm being stupid. I did an 8 with no deaths. Like,
Whoa.
I tried a 9 though, and it like literally
Here we go.
I something just like one shot me, and I was like, okay, I don't have enough item level. But I'm 20 item levels lower than the recommended, so
What?
it's about what I expected.
I thought 8s were recommended for our item level, like 580.
No,
or whatever.
8s are
8s are
600.
600.
okay.
No, 9s were 610 though, and I was going in at
Well, what I was
580.
going to say
I
is that
Get passing on loot then, bro,
tanks-
because I told you guys I'd get a 13 before the rest of y'all.
and you're
and
at
that
day
means I'm
6
gonna
right
keep-
now.
Well, that's
of
what I said when I
17.
was.
So I got a good amount of loot in the raid, but now, and I said after like just for the audience, after 2 drops, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna chill out with the dice. I'm gonna
Yeah,
relax.
you did say that.
I didn't, but I said it, but then I rolled anyway. But
I was gonna say I think delves are an appropriate difficulty because
Yeah, so
they're giving you very high item level
You
stuff
know what?
and they're relatively difficult.
You're right,
but
because also gear
difficult than I thought.
will also level them back out. You're right. Okay.
Yeah, same
What I
as
was-
Torghast is that it's gonna be like you're
it's
gonna
also
outgear
not
the fuck
timed,
out of
so
it.
it's really just like a can you do it or not?
Wasn't
At all
Torghast eye level locked?
No,
Yeah.
but wait, it was eye level locked. No,
Yeah,
no,
at
it was. I
each-
think it was
each
the same. It just
tier-
got hard.
No, each tier though you'd be locked to an eye level so that you couldn't out gear it.
No, that was not the case. Absolutely not. I'll look it up, but
All right.
you could definitely outgear Torghast. Yeah, you look it up.
No, I think it was you had to be a certain eye level to get in certain tiers of Torghast, didn't
No,
you?
not at
Or
all.
did you just have to beat a certain? I can't remember. It's forever ago.
No, it wasn't. It was like you could totally outgear it by the end of it. Because I remember going in at the end of a season and just like getting all the mounts and stuff easily. Because you had to like 5-star like a certain difficulty and like you could totally outgear it.
All right. Well,
Frank, why are you even researching this? They just made worse Torghast. It's exactly Torghast,
okay.
but not. As
I'm
fun.
not here to argue that because you have points to it. What I was
I
going
definitely
to
have
say
points to that.
though was, what do you think they should change for season 2 delves?
Are they going to be new ones, or are they going to
Like
be the same ones?
let's say that they hear all the feedback we're giving them. Torghast 2.0 sucks, right? They go, okay, well, we got a month or 2 before, because it's not going to be like an expansion level redesign, but we got a
Right.
month or 2 before season 2. Let's
An idea.
hook up some good things. It's not going to be an overhaul, but it's going to be pretty significant change.
Yeah, we already have like random buffs that come throughout. Like, why not add some?
Why not make
occasional-
the Torghast shut straight up?
Yeah, maybe not exactly Torghast, but something similar, something that's comparable. Even if it's not for us, maybe it's for our dude, our follower, right?
I
Like
would
a
love to
buff.
see different followers, but I don't think that would fix it.
Yeah,
Well, you will see a
Um,
different follower next season.
and honestly, they just need to be shorter, dude. They just need to be shorter. I don't want to be as a tank. I don't want to be doing the fucking delve for an hour, man. Fuck that.
I mean, the
Well, get
8
better
took
DPS.
me the first.
Uh-huh.
The 8,
I'm
the
doing
4
it
8s
solo.
I did,
Remember? So
yeah, the 4 8s I did took me between 20 and 28 minutes. If you have DBM, it tells you when you finish how
I
long.
was going to say, are you data?
No, I just noticed like when you finish it, it says like, oh, delve. I think it's DBM is doing
Yeah,
it.
something's
It tells
doing
you
it.
the completion time, and the quickest one I did in 8 and was 21 minutes, and the slowest was 28. So they're not that long. But I was doing DPS again, and I'm also doing it as a hunter. Hunter was really easy to do it as a hunter in Torghast because
Yeah.
you have a little guy helping you out. So I'm sure it's really hard for some caster classes, people who don't have self healing, people who can't.
we just
who
eat
have-
and drink a lot, I think.
No.
didn't.
I did a 7 today, and I got melee
We're talking
twice.
about like good players, though, Frank.
No, I can understand. As a mage, that'd probably be pretty difficult because you don't have.
Yeah, I can
There's no
too.
tank spec
Technique
for
is a
brawn.
cock.
They should have a. They should have brawn have a tank spec also.
Yeah, and then okay. So what would you change then? So is your thing Scrappy make him have a tank spec?
No, that wouldn't fix it. I mean, you're asking me what? Okay, people.
That might be good. I like that.
Season
Well,
2.
no, well, okay. These are things. Yeah. That I would change to make it a little bit more accessible. But you're saying like, okay, people don't like delves. We screwed the pooch. How do we make people like them? I think you kind of got to cut your losses on this one. Like,
Whoa, really?
yeah. I mean, unless they make it Torghast, like just full out give us powers left and right, make it silly, make us able to get kind of cool overpowered stuff. But then they're just admitting, oh, we made shitty Torghast. Like, I don't know what they would do. They would have to do something different.
There's nothing
something
wrong
new.
with admitting that they made shitty Torghast if they make it better, right?
Yeah, well then just make it Torghast is I guess what I would say.
Okay.
Or I mean, I'm not
Are
creative.
some of these
I'm not.
bugged, by the way?
I haven't had any issues.
Neither have I.
I'm in one
I'm
where the
not.
doors won't open.
Shawnee.
I'm. What?
Yeah, what's up,
Go
bro?
on, sorry.
Okay. You've been shaking your
Somebody
head
loves
violently.
delves.
Well, no, I just like, for me, I
Right.
enjoy the delves. I don't think they're shitty Torghast. I like it way more than Torghast. Torghast was, people said the same stuff about Torghast they're saying about delves.
Yeah, and they
I
just made
would-
it worse.
I don't think it's any worse, but it's a matter of opinion, which is totally fine. And the idea of making a tank for Braun is a good idea, I think, especially if you're like, that'd be cool. I think if I played a caster, to make it better, you could add in some more stuff. Maybe, I don't know. I think they're fine the way they are. I think they're going to be one of the many features that go into WoW that, I almost agree with Scrap. Just leave them alone. Don't get rid of them. Just leave them how they are. People are only going to play them for a couple weeks anyway.
Yeah, I'd
And
be
then they're
interested
gonna be
to
like,
see.
Out-geared it. I don't know if I'd really, if they came to me and like, hey, we're not going to put a ton of resources into, delves anymore. We're going to focus more on making like a better M+ season next season. I'd be like, okay, cool.
Mhm.
But like, there's, there's a lot of stuff in the game that we all don't do that I'm like, I don't like. They made pet dungeons, and I was like, I like pet battles, but I've only ever done like one pet dungeon.
Mhm.
So,
But this
It's
is
a-
different because they're with the added vault slot. They're kind of telling you we want this to be a major component of the game.
if it was going to be actually
I agree with
major, then
that.
the gear would keep up with raid and M+.
But
No,
the vault
not
slot's
necessarily,
important to
but-
point out, I think.
Yeah, that's what
Mhm.
Scrap just said.
No, he's agreeing with
I was
me.
agreeing with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't.
Normally people would just say
I-
I agree
I
instead
don't-
of just saying it like they just heard it for the first
I
time.
did say I agree, and then I said it's
I
important to
understood
point out.
technique.
Yeah, you were
I
listening.
don't think it'll ever be a major. I know they want it to be, but I think for people that are super into raiding and M+, it will never be. I think it might be great for the people that enjoy more solo content.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so
Yeah,
If
it's gonna.
I
I
could-
don't know if they would really. I don't know. I don't have any
Here's-
problem with them.
here's what I want to
Yeah.
compare it to. And before I do, I'm going to say what I would want. It's not my idea. I think Squishy from Rawhead said this on Twitter. I think that they should adopt the Plunder Storm model of how mobs attack, right? Everything can be avoided, but they will make it so that you might have to juggle too much that it can't be avoided all the time, right? So Scrap, you
Yeah.
remember when we did like the white hits, the melee
I think
hits
that's
did nothing,
smart.
right?
Yeah.
But if we pulled 2 elites, maybe it got out of hand
But
if
then,
we're
Frank,
at
how
level
do
1.
you make it more difficult then if everything is avoidable?
Because it's not
Yeah,
about it's
enough
not
things
about
Add more mobs?
it's not
Like-
about the yeah, well that too, like the juggling, right, would be the difficulty part of it. But like
Right.
Scrap, remember that this is not about the mage tower level of difficulty.
Mhm.
But even then, like I've only done Mage Tower on my Paladin that I can remember. I've done it on others, but I don't really remember much of it. But it wasn't necessarily about me being able to self-heal better than anyone else. It was about juggling, keeping Velen up, keeping, not getting hit by this mechanic and interrupting that mechanic and jumping over this mechanic or whatever it was, right?
Yeah, it was absolutely control of your character and the mechanics.
It was
I mean,
playing your
even
character
for
at best.
Yeah, right?
yeah, it was.
And some of it
dodging
was
more.
based on what tools you had as a tank, or like being able to Blessing of Freedom might have helped or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. But like this isn't supposed to be Mage Tower anyways. This is supposed to be for someone who is the casual, I play 1 hour every other day for the week, right? Just to come in and I mean, Scrap, we had fun doing the mechanics in Plunderstorm, despite the fact that none of them ever felt truly deadly.
I like your idea.
It's not my idea, by the way. It's Squishy's idea, but yeah.
Okay, I like Squishy's idea, but I'm finding it hard to see how it would become more difficult, right? Because they're setting up these scenarios of like there's guys here, guys there. If there's no numerical value put to it, it's like, well, you could theoretically do it in no gear.
Here's an example.
know?
Here's an example.
Elden Ring. It's the
Yeah,
same shit. You
exactly.
gotta dodge. Yeah, every ability is something that matters.
Understand.
That's
I
why.
understand, but it's like there's not 8 levels of Elden Ring
No,
boss. Of, like,
but
one
imagine
boss,
this.
you know what I mean?
Imagine
the
this,
numbers
right?
go up, they hit harder, they have more health. Like,
Imagine
I
this,
guess.
though,
But
right?
you'll never outgear an Elden Ring boss, and you'll never like you
Yeah.
can't just walk
Well.
into it because like the damage doesn't matter anymore. Like you still have to play well. I think that's kind of where they should gear the gameplay in
So
this type of
imagine this,
product.
right? You know,
Mhm.
most of these delves have kind of like a walkway to them, right? They're a little like hallways and stuff like that in the candle delves. Imagine if it was on a level 1, there is a boulder that comes like half like crossing certain ways, but on level
Right.
8 there might be 4 boulders that are angled at different angles that it's very hard to dodge through. And the mob that you're pulling, like the cone goes from like a 3-yard cone to a 10-yard cone, and like with the juggling of all that stuff, it's more about the dance mechanics, the movement, the control,
Mhm.
as opposed to do I have enough gear, do I have enough shield? It won't affect me whether I'm a mage or whether I'm a hunter, right?
Yeah, I think I would prefer still to see a mix, like, of I would love to see them actually saying, like, there's actually more difficult mechanics later in the dungeon,
Yeah, I
like,
mean, I definitely don't
but
want to
in
see my
addition
gear to
to
not matter. You know, I
Yeah,
don't want
'cause
it
I
to
want
be
my
a
gear to
matter
matter.
of like, oh I'm a stronger player, I should have an easier time. I want that to be the case. But at the same time, I do feel like I should never really be able to outgear and completely ignore components of the game
Yeah.
or the encounter just because like, oh, I'm tanky enough.
Well, so
Like I can just
that's
eat that.
that was the second thing I wanted to talk about. Was this reminds me so heavily about Diablo dungeons, right?
Yeah.
Like something that I could go into, and you know, a level 50 character versus level 100 character, the dungeon doesn't really change too much. Shauna, you can speak up if you feel like I'm being unfair in any of my.
No, I'm just
stuff.
listening.
But like,
No,
but the
keep going.
process is still there. Like, and in fairness, the dungeons only take about 10 minutes in Diablo, right, Shawnee? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Right. But
not even 10.
but
But
like-
anyway, yeah.
but like the thing that's different about Diablo though obviously is like how the spells and the healing works. But what I'm saying though is like that's the scenario I imagine where it's like I could do that really quickly if I'm like crazy skilled, but I could also do it very slowly and that's still okay, right? And so every time I think about a delve I think like, oh, it's just like I'm going in to do a dungeon in Diablo, and maybe leaning into that more would be good for the, I don't know, like it's hard obviously because they're
So,
two different games and two different genres, but
I will say, and I don't want it to seem like I'm walking back, but like
uh-oh.
doing the tier 8 delves, I found to be a really enjoyable experience.
Okay, good.
Like I think the difficulty was enough that I had to kind of pay attention because like there were times where I was just like bullshitting and then I would die. But and it's like, oh, okay, like I didn't die because it was unfair. I died because like I fucking got feared into a bunch of horse shit and pulled way too much, or
But that's the inverse that I feel, because I do feel like it's unfair because as a mage I
right.
pull one
So
mob and it boop boop and I'm
let's say
dead.
that for my class, I can get the best possible experience out of it because I felt pretty comfortable with everything I was being asked to do. You know, the thing I
Maybe
just
the
can't.
tank, the brown tank would like a bronzebeard tank would be
I
the
think
right
that would
choice.
help because it does seem a bit weird. He can be a healer and a DPS, but not a tank for people who
Well,
like would need
here's
that, like
why.
a caster.
If he's a
Well, let me
tank,
finish.
hold on, but if he's a tank, what is he going to be able to like? Everything's just going to be whacking on him. How do you heal him as a mage?
You kick stuff maybe, like he takes a lot of damage from things that you need to manage.
My
Damn,
24
she had a
second
quick
kick.
and good answer for that, didn't she?
Yeah,
But
my
you also-
24-second
also
kick is
the
going to heal him.
things- You could,
Right, but you can
know,
CC things and
Yeah, just
you can
CC
shoot
him,
stuff
Frank.
and-
God damn,
My
man.
one sheep. What are you talking about?
I don't know, but I mean, just like
That's
maybe
why
he
there's
was
no
like,
tank in my opinion.
right.
Well, paladins are terrible tanks. What can I say?
He's a hunter.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's hard, but let me finish my
Yeah, sorry, go
point.
on. I apologize.
Because I don't want it to seem like I was walking it back. It's not that it's not a fun solo experience. It's something I have talked over and over about. I want something more Mage Tower, more solo experience. It's just that they repackaged something they did 5 years ago and they took features out of it that I am. That's a big sticking point for me. That's what bothers me about
But
it.
they
is
put
that-
Bran in, so
Fuck Bran, I don't care.
I agree, man. I'm sick of
He's
seeing his
so
ass,
annoying.
dude. Can we do
I
this
love
expansion and
Bran.
have some
I'm fishing.
fucking dwarves, man? Can we get rid of the dwarves? Can we do that? I hate dwarves.
I like Bran as a
They're small.
character. But he's not a feature. He's
Are you saying
just
doors or dwarves?
dwarves. Yeah.
They're so small and annoying, dude. They stink. All of them got beards.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But so anyways,
stupid.
what the just to put a period on that point is that I don't think there's any way to fix that. I think they've
Someone's
already
not getting
served us
creative.
something. They'd have to get creative, and like I said,
Ever heard of
asked me, like,
Gillette?
what would you add? What would you change? It's like, okay, I'm not a game dev. I can't pull out of my ass like some brand new thing. They have to serve us something new. Like Torghast felt really new. You could love it, you can hate it. It was new. It was fun. They had put that roguelike. Everybody was into roguelikes. Like,
Feet are new
so
this season.
what's new?
Feet.
That's true. That's a new thing.
Can we take a time out
for
real quick and talk about Scrap? Have you seen the cinematic yet?
I haven't seen it because we didn't clear it. We'll talk
Okay.
about it next week.
I haven't either. Don't fucking spoil it.
I've heard that it's gonna. I said that if I see something,
This is the most
I'm
egregious
gonna
of them yet.
scream at the top of my lungs.
most
No
egregious
one
of
can
them
yet.
sleep in my house.
Please don't
The
tell
rule
me.
of
Finish my
threes.
After 10 minutes, I finally finished my point. That's
Okay.
my point. That's all I have to say.
All right.
First time
Any
ever.
last thoughts on Delves?
Actually, I have no. I'm kidding.
All right, y'all. I'm going to cut part 1 right here. Again, part 2 will release on Friday. Keep an eye out for it. In the meantime, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.